Our next speaker, our next speaker is Bonnie, and the topic is the nature of our recovery.
Hi everybody, I'm an addict and my name is Bonnie. And I first want to thank the God of my understanding for allowing me to be clean and recovering just for the day. For that I'm truly grateful. For I know I could be here and just be clean and not experience recovery had it not been for the 12 steps and the 12 traditions of Narcotics Anonymous and the relationship that I established as a result of practicing the 12 steps and the 12 traditions of Narcotics Anonymous to the best of my ability. And for that I'm grateful. You know, Lester gave me this topic, the nature of our recovery. And I wasn't prepared to share. I went in the bathroom and I just said a little prayer. You know, and I just been like trying to meditate a little bit on the nature of our recovery. One thing I know, when I first got here, before I could even begin to understand what recovery was about, I needed to understand what the disease of addiction was about. Because that's what I needed to recover from. And if I didn't understand the disease of addiction, if I didn't understand the symptoms, if I didn't understand the nature of the disease of addiction, and that it is a spiritual disease and it affects us in our spirit, there was no way that I could ever get to the exact nature of recovery. So getting in touch with that, I began to identify with a lot of the emotions that I experienced that were negative stemmed from the disease of addiction. I don't know why I feel nervous, but you know, this is an ongoing process. The disease that I suffer from, it does not care how much time I have. It's not impressed with anything that I may accumulate materially. It's not impressed with any type of prestigious position I can get. It's not impressed with my possessions. It's not impressed with any type of educational background I can establish, because one of the things that I need to be mindful of in this process is ego-flating positions. And because this disease affects me in my spirit, a lot of times when I'm in a position where my ego can be inflated, I tend to think that I got it going on. And I tend to think that I'm doing this. And I'm right, and you know, become self-righteous, in other words. And I try to remain humble. I don't want to get to a point where I think I'm so right and I know how to do this thing so perfectly that I don't need to ask anybody help, and I become selective on who God is going to put in my life to help me on any day of my recovery. I've been through a lot in my recovery. And through every situation that God has allowed me to go through without using a chemical, without going back to people, places, and things and substituting and trying to find relief in a person, place, or thing, I have gratitude for. Because there have been times in my life, right, when I didn't want to come in here. Because you get ridiculed. Then there are times when people, you know, think, oh, people judge you. They judge their recovery from your recovery. They judge how you share from how they share. They judge how you're recovering by what you got, what you wear, where you've been, what you do. And I read in the literature that social acceptability does not equal recovery. So it's telling me that I can have a lot of things and still not experience recovery. That's right. Or I don't have to have a lot of things and experience recovery. I can have a lot of money and experience recovery, or I don't have to have a lot of money and experience recovery. Only a God, a loving and caring God, can put together a program like this. Because if some of us put this program together, some of the qualifications would disqualify a lot of us from even obtaining recovery on a daily basis. We would have to reach a certain quota to be able to even establish recovery, to keep coming back, because we would feel alienated. So I understand that the nature of recovery stems from something that we cannot see. Something we cannot touch, but it's something on the inside. Something that I established as a result of practicing the principles of Narcotics Anonymous, no matter what comes down the pipe. No matter what happens. The baby died. I didn't expect that. I lost a house. I didn't expect that. Experienced bankruptcy. All of these things in the natural that happened to me as a result of me thinking that this was my graph that I would measure my recovery from, my successes. You know, the things that I do, my accomplishments is what's going to determine whether I'm recovering or not. But then God began to show me, the God of my understanding began to show me, okay, if that's what you think, I'm going to take those things away from you that you think are your successes and see where your recovery is then. Only to find out that those things that I held on to, which I related to as being successfully recovering, when they were gone, I still was able to maintain sanity. I still was able to keep coming back through embarrassment, through guilt, through all of the symptoms of a disease of addiction. I was able to continue to press towards my recovery. The nature of recovery, spiritual, man, being able to go through some stuff and not have to justify and rationalize why you have to substitute instead of going through and relying on a loving and caring God and making a decision to turn your will and your life over to Him. Without proving to a point, you know, there were times when I went through stuff, y'all, my sponsor couldn't help me. The group couldn't help me. I had to really depend on a power greater than myself, because there were times when I would be at home and it wasn't just about relationships. It wasn't just about the man. Because I have not yet met any woman that's in a relationship that her man does everything that she wants him to do, when she wants him to do it, how she wants him to do it, whenever she wants him to do it, to keep her happy 24/7. So as a result of knowing this, I know that my happiness is not going to come from the man. It's going to have to come from within me. So God began to allow me to understand that I have to be okay with me, whether you with me or not. I don't need you to find me. God had to show me how to go inside of me by myself through situations. Look, stripping me of things, stripping me of people, friends, loved ones, family members, and I mean stripping me, not removing them out of my life. They are going off the earth, no longer here. Where all I have to depend on is a loving and a caring God. That's all I got to depend on. See, I don't know what it is to be in a relationship with a man that gives you all the money that you need, that takes you and wines you and dines you and buys you this or whatever. I've never experienced that. My daddy was that to me. So when my daddy died, I lost my best friend. I lost my crutch. So now what am I going to do? Using never crossed my mind. I knew that I had established enough in my life, in my recovery, to keep going, no matter what. Crying whenever the feelings came up, leaning into the pain, because I cannot control grief. I understand that I'm powerless over grief. So at any given moment, when the grief comes up, when I feel the love of a lost one, then I need to express the exact nature of that. That's the only way I'm going to get through it. Recovery is an active change of ideas, attitudes, and behaviors. I can't keep holding on to the old mentality that I had when I was working in bars, when I was boosted, when I was trying to find a sugar daddy, when I was trying to use somebody to give me the good feelings that I couldn't go inside of myself and find. I can't continue to do that. I can't continue to try to control you by my unacceptable behavior. Checking your pager, calling phone numbers I find, checking your answer machine, sitting in front of your house 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning.
In front of your house.
I can't continue to live like that. Because that's insanity. That's living in addictive behavior. So only God was able to free me from that behavior. The embarrassment showed up. Am I able to admit that's what I did? Guilt, shame, embarrassment shows up. I just want nobody to know I had those traits. But I had to go to God and believe that He could restore me to sanity. The process of recovery, change. If I can't admit what's wrong with me, if I can't admit the things in my behavior that I need help with, then I'm in denial. And denial is one of the aspects of the disease of addiction. I'm telling you, you can't see denial. You can only feel it. You'll be the last one to know you in denial. Once you come out of denial, it's so embarrassing that it will make you want to isolate. You don't even want to come around nobody because everybody knew but you. So then you want to stay home. Then we start justifying and rationalizing and finding the ways and the most outrageous sort of nonsense, no reason at all. I don't even want to socialize with them. So I isolate myself. But what I've learned is God is giving me the ability to recover in all areas of my life. All areas of my life. Not just some. And dig this, you know what? I used to think if I stayed celibate, if I didn't have sex with a man, it would make me more spiritual. Really, I did. But then I found out that it didn't make a difference because the spirituality in my life didn't come from you sexing me. It came from how long and how much prayer I was doing with the God of my understanding. He didn't look at sex as a sin, no different than stealing, no different than backbiting, no different than me pointing a finger at you, no different than me causing harm to you. He don't look at it like that. We look at it like that. We put it in degrees. So now I need to be honest with myself, not with you. See, I had to get in touch with, I wanted to put myself here and make you think I was better than you. So I would tell myself stuff about you in front of you and others to elevate my ego. And our literature says beware of ego inflating positions. So the reality, what I found out is that, look, all I need to do is just be honest. And like the nature of recovery is honesty. Having some open-mindedness, having some willingness. Look, the 12th step talks about having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these principles. We tried to carry the message. We try. That doesn't mean I'm going to do it all the time. It means I'm going to fall short. It means I'm going to have to, at times, go back and humbly ask God to forgive me for some shortcomings. If we weren't going to make mistakes, we wouldn't have the 7 steps. And we would be like robots, programmed. But that's why we had to do this thing in a what you call repetitious manner. And you know what? I found too that I need to remain humble. I don't need to be arrogant. I need to remain loving and caring, understanding, having empathy, compassion, concern, because these are the aspects of recovery. These are the nature, the spiritual principles of recovery. Not resentment, anger, frustration, embarrassment, selfishness, greed. That make the natures of recovery. That's how come when somebody walks into the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous that's never been here before, they can feel something going on in this room that they cannot explain. I seen a boy out there today, right, that I grew up with, and he wanted to come, but he couldn't depart from the beer in his hand. But there's something that he sees going on in these meetings, something that he knows is happening, and he wants to come. And I remember the struggle. I remember coming around this process, right, and not yet being able to make a commitment to come in and sit with y'all. Or sup with y'all, as some would say. Because I wasn't ready. I didn't know if this thing was going to work for me. The nature of my recovery tells me I still got to love him. I don't have to like sleep with him or make him any promises, but just let him know you in the right place. It's okay whenever you're ready. I didn't put myself above him or below him. The nature of recovery is to be an example, to be an attraction, not to preach it, not to go around and try to point the ruler or the pointer at somebody. You must do this now. That ain't the nature of this thing. It's not, y'all. But in my life, just let me talk about my life. It's not I've been here 16 years, and a lot of people said that my recovery had a lot of holes in it. And all the holes that I fell through, God has pulled me through. I ain't never stayed in none of them. And I'm all right with it. I'm all right with it. I don't need a whole lot of material things that make me feel good about myself. I'm 300 pounds and I have accepted that. I love me. God loves me. My children love me. There are people in my life that love me, and there's some that don't. What I've learned to do in my recovery, to make my recovery a whole lot simpler for me, is to gravitate to the ones that love me. Pray for the ones that don't. That's the nature of recovery. When you begin to fight, when you begin to go with, oh no, she said what about me? It's okay. Look, I'm going through a thing right now, my place of worship, where I have been on a ministry where a whole lot of tension is. See, the nature of recovery is when we begin to recover, we begin to stand out from the rest. We are different. I don't care whether you on your job, I don't care in your community, in your family, wherever you are different. You are not like ordinary folk. So you begin to stand out. And I began to experience a whole lot of tension. A lot of tension, y'all. A lot of nitpicking. I know, because I used to do it. You know how you working around somebody and you just pick with a certain person because they ain't flowing with you. They ain't doing what you do. So they the outcasts. So I made a decision. Look, I don't need this. I do not have to be up under tension like that. So I made a decision to let it go. I'm turning in my letter tomorrow. And I may have, I still need some work because I got a little vindictiveness with me. I'm going to do them like they did me. I'm going to go and like they expected me to sing. I'm going to give them the letter. Here you go. And I'm going to just go on about my business. I don't want to fight. I don't want to meet with nobody and discuss what's wrong. I believe that God got me. And I believe that I have gotten all that I could get. See, the nature of recovery is learning to let go when you've had enough. Being able to admit complete defeat. Throwing up your hands and surrendering to win. Not study fighting and, okay, y'all did this, I'm going to do this. No. Burning a whole lot of energy on negative stuff. You know, if I'm going to use some energy, I need to use it in a positive aspect. I don't need to use a whole lot of energy especially as hot as it is now. I want to burn my energy positively. There's some things and there's some goals that I want to establish in my life. And as a result of my recovery, I know I can do this thing, y'all. And I can do it. And even if I don't do it, I can try. I can give it all I got. And after I've given it all I got, and if that doesn't work, and if it's not enough, I can surrender to win. Or keep trying again. You know, the recovery process is an ongoing thing. It's everything we go through in our daily life, every day, anything you go through on the course of a day, you make a decision to do something the way the recovery part of you is going to do it or the disease part of you is going to do it. Everything. And we talk about recovery being spiritual. Disease being spiritual. See, you got to be able to see things and feel things in the spirit and to look further than what you can see in your eyes. And see it and you ever get ready to do something and in your spirit you know it ain't the right thing to do. Or you get ready to do something and God is in you because you are recovering. You have now established a relationship with the God of your understanding and you have a conscious contact with Him today. You have learned how in an intuitive manner to pray only for the knowledge of His will for you and the power to carry it out. So when you find yourself in certain circumstances and situations, God be like, and He tells you what move you should make and what move you shouldn't make. because look, we recover threefold. Now, like some of us can deal with the physical part of recovery. Some of us can deal with the mental part of recovery. But sometimes, for some of us, the spiritual part of recovery is a little too heavy because you have to make some sacrifices. There's some things that you have to let go of to get in touch with the spiritual part of your recovery that you just cannot hold on to and grow spiritually. You can't. I'm telling you through my experience. There's some behaviors that spiritually you can't pray right with them. There's some things that you walking around and you talking like cussing like a sailor, and then you go to pray and you wonder why your prayers ain't being answered. When we say we humbly, when we humble ourselves, that means that I make myself to the humblest degree. I mean, I just make myself like I'm so weak. I'm nothing. I can't do this on my own. I need God. I need Him. It's not a thing where, I'm trying to convince the other people that you don't need God for this program. When you get in touch with that power greater than you, the God of your understanding, your recovery becomes a whole lot easier. Our literature says, in the 12th step, we get our recovery from the God of our understanding. So sometimes it ain't even up to us. We play a major part because we have willingness. How willing am I? Yeah, I come in here and talk about my shortcomings and my character defects. But how willing am I when y'all ain't around? Am I glamorizing my addictive behaviors? Or am I sincere about this thing? Do I really want to walk upright? Or do I just want to do it in front of y'all? Am I acting one way in front of y'all? And when I go somewhere else, I'm acting differently? Or am I the same person when I'm here, when I'm there, or anywhere? See, the nature of recovery will have you able to be who you are because you know it ain't about you, it's about what God wants for you. And that's what I've learned. Really, that's what I've learned. I didn't know I was going to get this hype. But something begins to happen, man. Look, I got a relationship with the God of my understanding that I'm not ashamed of. That I don't feel bad when I talk about God. Because this program tells me that I will develop a relationship with Him. And I have done that. I do that. There are times when I get in my car and it's just me, and sometimes I don't even like for people to ride with me because I be in my car and I be in constant meditation. My gospels be playing. I have to guard what I hear. I don't like a lot of people coming up to me talking about sex and how they got it and what they doing and how they put it in and took it out, and really I don't. I don't like that because that kind of stuff gets in my spirit, y'all. And then when you walk away, you got some freedom, you got some relief, and I'm standing there with you know what I'm saying? Now I'm all messed up. And you free. So I need to guard what I hear. I need to be careful the company that I keep. Because I understand that bad company corrupts good character. So if I allow myself to be comfortable in a negative setting, then I'm going to start doing some negative stuff too. I don't ever want to stop recovering. And I know I do it on a daily basis. I have never lost the desire to stop making meetings. Never lost it. I never felt out of place. There had been times maybe when I haven't been here, but the nature of recovery lets me know, look, I need to go to the meeting. I need to be around recovering people because there's no place on earth like the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous. There are no other people on earth. People don't understand the nature of recovery. People see us and say we polytheists, however you say it, we worship many gods, and they focus on the negativeness of this program. They can't see God in this program like He's in the earth because they want to have their way. And they don't understand that it is not their your will is God's will. And he has no respect to person. He don't care if you Muslim, atheist, Buddhism, Jehovah Witness, whatever it is. The bottom line is when you reach a certain point and you get to the nature of your recovery, it ain't about the religion that you choose, it's about the religion that he chooses for you. And I say that through my experience. Because I have experienced different religions because it looked good. But like I said earlier, you cannot see spirituality. You can only feel it. You can feel yourself and stuff in your spirit. And when I felt in my spirit that God was saying, sister, you in the wrong place, I had to move. I had to move. So the disease say, people gonna talk about you, girl. Disease stepped right up to me, checks you. Disease, look, you know what you gonna look. They gonna, and you know what? The God of my understanding let me know I got you. As long as you continue to make the decision to turn your will and your life over in my care, you're alright. You alright. Just keep checking yourself on a daily basis. Just keep being able to admit the exact natures of your wrongs. Don't worry about what other people are doing. Keep checking yourself. And when you find yourself wrong, you admit it. Come to me. Let me know. I will put the people in your life that will help you get from point A to point B. I will give you the support that you need. Don't look for the support yourself, because you're going to choose somebody who you think's supposed to be there for you that's not going to be there for you. And I'm going to put somebody in your life who you would never expect to be there for you. And they're going to carry you from one point to the next point. And that's my experience. Persons who I would never expect to help me have helped me. People who never expected me to help them. God put a compassion in my heart to reach out to them. Not for recognition, because that's the nature of recovery. One addict helping another without parallel. This is my life. I don't have nowhere else to go. You know what I'm saying? I done been to many churches, mosques. I tried Buddhism, the Nam-Ye Ho stuff. You know? Look, this is it for me. This is it. This is it. So if you hear and you are not sure if you're recovering or not, then question yourself. Keep asking God. Asking God to help you. Ask the God of your understanding to reveal to you. Am I really recovering? You want to experience this thing for real? Get on the spiritual part. Stop trying to catch up with the Joneses. Stop trying to get the material things and the degrees to equal your recovery. I'm not saying don't get them. Get them. Get them. Because all that stuff comes as a result of recovery. But we're talking about the nature of recovery. And that's something you cannot see. Something you can't tell just by looking at a person. You can only tell when they open their mouth. You can only tell how they talk to you, how they treat you, their character. Sometimes you can't even tell through reputation. Because sometimes we are hard critics of each other. We put out other people's reputations and we make them what we want them to be. We determine whether they're going to make it or not. And it ain't even up to us. For real, it ain't up to us. Because there's a power greater than all of us. All of us that's in this room, and he uses who he chooses. And sometimes when he chooses to use, you powerless. It ain't nothing you can do but just make yourself available. Well, I hope I shared something on the nature of recovery. I love y'all, and thanks for letting me share.